Hello there. This is my lecture recap for organizational behavior. The lecture focuses on two learning units: group dynamics and work teams, and decision making in organizations. These two learning units represent a transition from the first part of organizational behavior, the individual psychology in the workplace, to the social psychology part that deals with group dynamics, team building, and relationships in the workplace. Perhaps to the typical undergraduate students, these two topics might not be connected to each other, save for the explicit and obvious fact because I have mentioned I have mentioned this that these two represents topics in the second component in organizational behavior. Maybe a few still remember that there are three components of organizational behavior: the individual psychology, the group dynamics, that is the social psychology part, and then the organizational sociology part of organizational behavior. So, those are the three parts of organizational behavior. Now, it is a long standing trend or fashion in management to idealize the decentralized, flatter organizational structure that is underlined by teamwork and group decision making. This trend is reinforced with the movement away from manufacturing to a more service oriented economy in many parts of the world. Then, the concept of IR 4.0 and AI, Industrial Revolution 4.0, and artificial intelligence render manufacturing to require less and less labor and more automation. And with this, the need for tight bureaucratic organizational systems to control people becomes less and less. Whether this represents the reality or not, this is not the issue, as the typical mainstream organizational behavior and management textbooks tend to slant towards the dominant thinking or ideology. If you look around or search around in the internet, you may find a lot of management consulting firms offering help with hefty fees, I am sure, to organizations to kickstart their team building and group decision making processes. Google by using the terms and phrases like team building and group decision making processes and consultancy Malaysia. I bet you will find a few of them here in this country. So, as things are going on, teamwork and decision making, teamwork and group decision making are the basis of the new social structure in organizations. Therefore, it follows that the general prescription to organizational professionals and practitioners would be to restructure production so that work teams can be the prime movers of productive processes, with the emphasis on group decision making. The structure of the organization needs to move away from bureaucratic structure to a flatter, organic, and flexible structures to enable decision making to be shared with more people rather than to be concentrated to a single all-powerful decision maker or to be monopolized by a few selected people. To sustain this type of organizational arrangement, it is recommended that organizational practitioners understand the stages of team development with the idea to expedite the early stages of development whilst prolonging the performance stage. Organizations must also ensure that team decision making or group decision making must not be corrupted by the dominance or domination or implicit control or undue influence of a few people because of their domineering personalities. If this is the case, then the group will suffer from this ailment that is called groupthink. Groupthink is a horrible disease and must be avoided as it may spell disaster for the organization. And to that end, several suggestions have been given. Delphi technique, step ladder technique, etc., etc., to ensure active participation of all or group members. We will return to the same themes of promoting teamwork and group decision making in the remaining learning units. The full Webex lecture should be available in your respective Office 365 groups. Make sure you go to the group files to access the recorded lecture. Best wishes from Khairil Annuar.